Bledsoe was arrested.
Patrick Montgomery was in court.
Jonathan Manapa will stay in federal custody.
No, I don't take responsibility at all.
Hey everyone, welcome to the show. So 55-year-old South Carolina resident and Marine veteran Christopher Rockey traveled to D.C. with two other people. And on January 6th, he was seen climbing through the scaffolding that was set up for Joe Biden's inauguration. Rockey was wearing a helmet, he had on goggles, hard-knuckle gloves, and according to one of the men who went to D.C. with Rockey, he was carrying a two-way radio and pepper spray that day. So just before 2:30, Rockey was seen pulling a mask over his face, and he illegally entered the Capitol through the Senate wing doors. He walked through several areas of the Capitol before he joined a group that had been stopped by a line of officers, and he was screaming, "We want Trump." Rockey maneuvered to the front of that mob, and he confronted the officers, and eventually the police were overwhelmed, and the mob just overran them. They were totally amped up. So the group, including Rockey, forced their way past the police. They headed to the House chamber. Rockey was standing by. He was watching as other people were trying to break into the House chamber. And then he walked around to the other side of the area to the speaker's lobby. Ultimately, he left the area. He exited the Capitol after being inside the building for approximately 20 minutes. So then, about 10 minutes later, Rockey approached the Capitol doors again, and he was watching as the police were forcing people out. He didn't try to re-enter, but he remained on the restricted grounds for several hours after that, and he took part in an assault on the police. So around 4:30, Rockey joined a group. They were on the Upper West Terrace, and once again, he maneuvered to the front of the crowd to confront the police. Rockey was seen on video pushing against an officer's shield, and he threw his shoulder and his body into the shield. And then Rockey grabbed the top of an officer's shield at one point, and he tried to wrestle it away from the officer. So he briefly fell back into the crowd before he reemerged, and then he grabbed an officer's baton. And Rockey was captured on body cam. He was trying to rip the baton out of the officer's hands. Eventually, Rockey and his friends left the Capitol grounds, and he was interviewed by the FBI, and he gave all of the typical MAGA excuses. You know, the police let me in, I left as soon as the violence started, yada, 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 bullshit. And Rockey tried to say he only attacked the police and after they dropped a flashbang munition into a crowd that included children. And he said, "Oh, I only grabbed the officer's shield because I wanted to talk with the police." So Rockey was arrested on December 13th of 2023, and he was charged with civil disorder, assaulting officers, entering a restricted building or grounds, 2 counts of disorderly conduct, 2 counts of physical violence, and parading or demonstrating in a Capitol building. In June of 2024, Rockey pleaded guilty to the assault charge, and so he was facing up to 8 years in prison, 3 years of probation, and $250,000 in fines. But the prosecutor requested only 27 months in prison, 3 years of probation, and $2,000 in restitution. I will give Rockey credit for this. He is one of the only January 6 convicts I've heard of who didn't ask for a sentencing delay after Trump won the election. According to his attorney, Rockey said that he knew he committed crimes and he wanted to atone for his actions. So, you know, credit where credit is due. U.S. District Judge Rudolph Contreras presided over Rockey's case, and he ended up sentencing Rockey to 18 months in prison, 2 years of probation, and $2,000 in restitution. So, you know, compared to other January 6 sentences, I think this was a fair outcome. He did take responsibility fairly soon after being indicted, which is unusual. And although he did push against the police, he didn't physically cause injuries. So, or I should say he didn't cause physical injuries. But anyway, overall, I think it's a decent sentence. Let's hope this is not one that Trump will pardon, though. So he does need to pay for his crimes, even though he did take responsibility. So we'll see. I'll keep you posted. Thank you all so much for watching and listening. Please like, please share, and subscribe. Please donate if you can. Love you all. Take care. Talk with you soon.